President Trump is also preparing for the optics of a potential indictment. The New York Times, citing friends and associates, says he is ready and welcomes the idea of a purr walk, and even quotes mused openly about whether he should smile for the assembled media, adding that he has pondered how the public would react and is said to have described the potential spectacle as a fun experience. What just happened at 6 p.m. Eastern Time today represents the single most consequential and shocking moment in American presidential history. I need everyone listening to understand the gravity of this situation. We are watching the end of the Trump presidency unfold in real time. U.S. District Judge Barl Howell has issued an instant arrest order directing federal marshals to take President Donald Trump into custody by midnight tonight, which is just hours from now. This is not a drill of future possibility or a political warning. Before we continue, I want to speak to you briefly and honestly. I'm an older journalist with decades of experience, and I'm currently without a traditional newsroom position. That's why I created this channel, to keep doing serious fact-based journalism that respects viewers and avoids sensationalism. This channel is fully independent. We have no corporate sponsors, no partisan funding, and no institutional backing. That independence matters, but it also means we rely entirely on viewer support. I want to be transparent. So far, this channel has received just $80 in total support, which makes sustaining this work challenging given the time and research involved. I'm currently without a job, and this channel is my only way to continue responsible journalism. If you're able to help, whether through buying me a coffee link in the channel description or by sharing this work, it truly makes a difference. Even small contributions help keep this work going. There's absolutely no pressure. I'm deeply grateful to those who support this channel and who believe as I do that truth still matters and careful journalism is worth protecting. Thank you for considering it. The order explicitly authorizes forcible entry at Mar-a-Lago if necessary and coordinates. What a nice grouping this is. This is really nice. Look at this. It's going to be very rough in about 10 minutes, so we'll have to go a little bit quickly. They just said very, very rough, with a total Secret Service stand down under acting President Vance, who has already assumed presidential powers. The sitting president of the United States will be arrested before this day is over. Before we dive into the staggering legal details, let's be honest. You can't really trust mainstream media to give you the raw truth anymore. They are often too slow or too biased to handle a moment this massive. Now let's get back to the unprecedented events of this evening. Legally speaking, in New York, a purr walk is usually unlikely under standard procedure if an arrangement is cooperative. However, what we are seeing tonight is anything but standard. Trump has been bracing for this kind of legal reckoning for decades. Having faced criminal investigations dating back to the 1970s, clashes with the IRS, and a heavy reliance on the infamous Roy Cohn, he has evaded ultimate punishment many times. But tonight the law has finally caught up. Recent reports from the New York Times detailed scenes at Mar-a-Lago suggesting Trump was significantly disconnected. So, Donald Trump just lost control of Mar-a-Lago. A federal judge issued an emergency seizure order 5 minutes ago from the severity of his woes, acting as a DJ at parties with his personally curated Spotify playlists featuring the Rolling Stones and Phantom of the Opera. But the music has stopped. A federal judge has ordered the immediate arrest of the sitting president. There's breaking news just coming into the situation. Rumor, right? The case against President Trump and others in their effort to overturn will continue, but with a new prosecutor. This comes after Fulton County Attorney Fani Willis was previously removed from the case. The order, timestamped at 6:02 p.m., Eastern states executed without delay and detained pending war crimes indictment. Those words, executed without delay, are chilling. There is no waiting period, no window for appeal, and no procedural stalling. Right now, 150 federal marshals are deployed to Palm Beach. Helicopter footage shows the entire area around Mar-a-Lago is under total lockdown. The gates are projected to be breached by 110 p.m. tonight if Trump refuses to surrender. We are watching the historic arrest of an American president happen live on our screens. This drastic order was triggered by Trump's deposition meltdown earlier today. During the proceedings, he reportedly screamed, "Statehood is ridiculous. We want to straighten the place out. Statehood's ridiculous. It's unacceptable if they attempted to arrest him." That threat, When combined with autopsy evidence showing 132 civilian deaths under rules of engagement Trump personally signed in relation to Venezuela, convinced Judge Howell that the president represents an immediate threat to national security. She determined that the situation could not wait until morning. She moved the timeline from 9 a.m. tomorrow to midnight tonight, just 6 hours from his public meltdown to scheduled custody. That is the level of danger the judiciary now associates with his continued freedom. Trump's response has been predictably unhinged and is only digging his legal grave deeper. At 6:15 p.m., just 13 minutes after the judge's order, he posted on Truth Social in all caps, claiming the arrest order is fake, calling federal marshals traitors and inciting his supporters to rise up. He is effectively calling for violence against law enforcement while an active arrest operation is underway. Every post he makes is being logged as additional evidence of obstruction and incitement. The coordination with acting President Vance regarding the Secret Service stand down is perhaps the most constitutionally significant part of this story. It means the transfer of power has already effectively occurred. Vance is exercising presidential authority to direct the Secret Service not to interfere with the federal marshals. Trump's own protective detail, the men and women who have stood by him for years, will not prevent him from being taken into custody. Tonight, the Secret Service works for the institution of the presidency, not for the individual man, and their commander is now J.D. Vance. Live helicopter footage continues to show the Palm Beach lockdown. Roads are blocked by heavy federal vehicles. Checkpoints have been established, and the entire world is watching America arrest its own leader. The hashtag #BarTrumpArrest has exploded into billions of views globally. Foreign leaders are scrambling to issue statements, and global markets have halted trading as the uncertainty reaches a breaking point. Trump's frantic warnings of Civil War II on social media only confirm Judge Howell's findings. He is a threat that must be neutralized immediately. He knows the marshals are coming. He knows the law has run out of patience, and he knows his freedom ends at midnight. Let's really examine why Judge Howell concluded that an instant arrest was necessary. The acceleration from a morning warrant to a midnight raid reflects a judicial determination that every hour Trump remains at liberty increases the danger to the country. According to the order, the trigger was twofold. First, his blatant contempt for the judicial process was proven by his threats to burn down the Capitol. This proved he does not recognize the authority of the courts. Second, the admission regarding the Venezuela rules of engagement, signatures that authorized lethal force resulting in the death of 132 civilians, including children, move this into the realm of war crimes. This timeline is extraordinarily compressed. Normally, a tactical operation of this magnitude would take days of preparation. To execute it in 6 hours shows that the risk of delay was deemed unacceptable. Every hour he remains free is an hour he can incite armed insurrection, flee the country, or destroy vital evidence. The authorization of forcible entry means this is not a polite request. Mar-a-Lago is a massive estate with private security, but marshals have been given the green light to breach any gate or door and use any force necessary. This is a tactical operation against the most protected individual in the United States. The deployment of 150 marshals represents an overwhelming force intended to ensure success regardless of any resistance. They have been planning for these contingencies and are moving with clinical precision. The number of agents alone tells you that they are taking the possibility of violent resistance from Trump's supporters or private security with the utmost seriousness. Trump has about 5 hours left to decide: surrender peacefully and be taken into custody with minimal drama, or force a violent breach. Either way, the outcome is the same. He will be in custody. Every post Trump makes between now and midnight is being treated as criminal conduct. Inciting violence against federal law enforcement is obstruction of justice and potentially seditious conspiracy. His lawyers, if they can even reach him, must be terrified. But he seems unable to stop his digital tirades. The call for civil war is an explicit invitation for armed resistance, which only reinforces the judge's finding of an immediate threat. Furthermore, teams are already on site at Mar-a-Lago for property seizures related to the New York fraud judgment. The federal apparatus is seizing his buildings and his person simultaneously. Everything is converging on one point in Florida tonight. The market halts reflect a global economy in shock. Investors do not know if the transition to Vance will be stable or if America is descending into chaos. The economic consequences of Trump's actions now affect the entire world. Let's break this down into the essential points to understand this constitutional crisis. Point number one, the midnight deadline means Trump will be in federal custody within hours. This is an active operation. By the time the sun rises, he will likely be in a detention facility. Point number two, the authorization of forcible entry means he cannot hide. No gate or door can stop the legal authority of the marshals tonight. Point number three, the Secret Service stand-down means his institutional shield is gone. Acting President Vance has cleared the way for the arrest to proceed without internal conflict. Point number four, Trump's calls for civil war are new criminal acts that will be added to his indictment. He is proving the judge right in real time. Point number five, the 150 marshals represent a force that cannot be defeated by private security. There is no scenario where this arrest fails. Point number six, the global reaction proves that Trump's conduct has damaged American stability on the world stage for years to come. Point number seven, impeachment is now moot. The criminal justice system has moved faster than Congress ever could. He is being removed by marshals, not by a political vote. So what happens in these final hours? We are about to witness the forcible arrest of a sitting American president. The implications are staggering. Vance is already functionally president, directing law enforcement and making executive decisions. The formal 25th Amendment process will surely follow, but for operational purposes, the shift has occurred. The possibility of violence is real, and the marshals are prepared for armed resistance. Law enforcement is doing everything possible to ensure safety, but the response of Trump's supporters remains the great unknown. Congress will respond immediately once the arrest is confirmed. Calls for permanent removal will intensify, and legislation will be drafted to handle the unprecedented status of a detained chief executive. Internationally, allies are expressing support for the rule of law. While adversaries look for ways to exploit the transition, America's standing is forever changed. Politically, the Republican Party faces potential annihilation. Running under the banner of a leader arrested for war crimes, there is no spin that can save the GOP from this electoral catastrophe. For Donald Trump personally, these are the final hours of his old life. His power, his freedom, and his ability to command the news cycle end tonight. He will be a prisoner of the federal government, transported in handcuffs to a high-security facility, pending trial for charges that could result in life in prison. The man who spent decades accumulating fame and gold will spend his remaining time in a cell. The clock is ticking toward midnight. The marshals are moving. The world is watching. By morning, a new reality begins for the United States. Keep watching Pump Politics as we cover this operation live as it unfolds. The helicopters are over Palm Beach. The marshals are at the perimeter, and history is being written in the dark of night. You cannot afford to miss a single second of what happens next. As we wait for the 11:20 p.m. window, we are hearing reports of movement within the Mar-a-Lago compound. Lights are flashing, and there is a flurry of activity near the main residence. It is unclear if Trump is preparing to surrender or if he is moving deeper into the estate to avoid the marshals. The tactical teams are reportedly using thermal imaging to track everyone on the property. This level of surveillance on a sitting president is something we never thought we would see. The tension in the air is palpable, not just in Florida, but across the entire country. In Washington, Acting President Vance has reportedly convened an emergency meeting of the National Security Council. They are monitoring global military postures to ensure that no foreign adversary takes advantage of this moment of internal friction. The continuity of government is being maintained, but the psychological weight of the situation is heavy. The White House staff is reportedly in a state of shock, with many unsure who they are even working for at this hour. This is the definition of a constitutional meltdown. We are also seeing early reports of crowds gathering near the Palm Beach perimeter. Some are supporters answering Trump's call to rise up, while others are there to witness what they believe is the long-awaited return of the rule of law. Local police are struggling to keep the two groups separated as the situation threatens to boil over. The marshals have established a sterile zone around the property, but the surrounding streets are becoming a powder keg. If violence erupts there, it will only justify the judge's decision that Trump had to be taken tonight. The legal team representing the victims of the Venezuela operation has also issued a statement calling this a victory for human rights. They are preparing to file additional civil suits that will follow Trump into detention. The financial seizures are also accelerating, with reports that Trump's offshore accounts are being frozen by international authorities in coordination with the DOJ. The man who once claimed to be a billionaire is being systematically stripped of every asset he owns. Stay with us. We are receiving updates every few minutes from our sources on the ground. The marshals are now reportedly less than a mile from the main gate. The 11 ppm gate breach projection looks increasingly accurate. We will have the live feed as it happens. Do not turn away. This is the moment that will be studied by every historian for the next 100 red years. The arrest of Donald Trump is imminent to the community here at Pump Politics. Thank you for sticking with us through this grueling news cycle. We know how intense this is. Our goal is to keep you informed with the facts as they arrive without the sensationalism or the propaganda. We believe in the power of an informed citizenry to navigate even the darkest moments of our history. Make sure you are subscribed and your notifications are set to all. We are going to be live all night. The silence coming from the White House press office is deafening. Usually there is a flurry of spin to counter any negative story, but tonight there is nothing. It seems the administration's communication apparatus has also stood down, or they have simply realized there is no spin left for an arrest order for war crimes. The Teflon has finally worn off. The reality of a prison cell is no longer a metaphor. It is a physical location that Trump is heading toward right now. Check your clocks. We are approaching the final hour. The marshals are in position. The Secret Service is out of the way. The judge's order is active, and the president is trapped. This is the end of an era and the beginning of a reckoning that will reshape the very foundations of the American Republic. We are here to document it all. Stay tuned for the breach. Would you like me to look into the specific legal protocols for the detention of a former president, including how a federal facility handles Secret Service protection within a prison environment? This is an unprecedented logistical challenge that the DOJ is surely grappling with right now. Let me know if you want that deep dive into the prison presidency protocols for our next segment. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and stay with Pump Politics. The truth is unfolding tonight. As we move closer to the midnight deadline, the international community is reacting with a mix of awe and concern. The BBC is reporting that European leaders are in emergency sessions, while in Russia and China, state media is using the chaos to argue that Western democracy is fundamentally broken. The optics of a president in handcuffs are a double-edged sword for America's global reputation. It proves that no one is above the law, but it also exposes the deep, nearly fatal fractures in our system. The world is watching to see if we can survive this without descending into the very civil war that Trump is calling for. Inside Mar-a-Lago, the atmosphere must be one of pure desperation. Reports suggest that some staff members are already leaving the property, realizing that their association with the president could lead to their own legal peril. The inner circle is shrinking by the minute. Those who remain are likely the ones who have the most to lose, or the ones who are truly committed to the scorched earth path Trump has chosen. The next few hours will reveal the true character of everyone in that compound. The technical aspect of the arrest is also being analyzed. How do you safely arrest a man with a private security force and a lifetime of high-level protection? The marshals are reportedly using specialized electronic countermeasures to jam any communication from the property that could be used to coordinate a resistance. They are taking total control of the environment. This is a master in federal tactical execution. Don't forget to join our newsletter if you haven't already. We are pushing out a special edition tonight with the full text of Judge Howell's order and the list of charges. This is the document that ended a presidency. You need to read it for yourself. The link is in the description. We are building the most informed community in politics, and we are glad you are here. The helicopters have just adjusted their orbit. It looks like the lead tactical vehicles are starting to move toward the primary entrance. This is it. The countdown to the gate breach has begun. We are seeing the headlights of the marshals' SUVs as they line up. The world is holding its breath. The President of the United States is about to be taken into custody. We are Pump Politics, and we live. Wait, we are getting a report that a small group of Trump's private security has laid down their weapons at the side gate. It seems the Secret Service stand-down message has filtered through to the private contractors as well. They are choosing their own futures over a lost cause. This significantly reduces the chance of a firefight, but the tension remains high as the marshals move toward the main house. Trump is reportedly still inside his private quarters. As we witness this, remember that the law is a living thing. It only has power because we agree it does. Tonight, the law is asserting its power in the most dramatic way possible. It is a reminder that the institutions of our democracy, the courts, the marshals, the Constitution, are stronger than any one individual. No matter how much gold they have or how many followers they command,